Today, we're going to explore 3 of the clearest signs that a woman may show when she begins to feel attracted to someone. One of the most important things to understand from the beginning is that these signs are rarely dramatic or obvious. In fact, the more natural and genuine the attraction is, the easier it can be to miss if you don't know what you're looking for. Stay with me until the 3rd sign because it's often the most revealing. It's not the most noticeable one, but it's the signal that appears most consistently in real-life situations, even though many men overlook it because it doesn't match the traditional idea of direct flirting. Before we dive into these signs, it's important to clear up a common misunderstanding. If you've ever looked back and felt like you missed an opportunity or failed to recognize someone's interest, it doesn't automatically mean you lacked confidence, personality, or attractiveness. In many cases, it simply means no one ever explained how attraction is often expressed through subtle behavior rather than obvious words. Understanding this difference can completely change the way you interpret social interactions. Men and women often communicate attraction differently. While many men tend to express interest in a more direct and straightforward way, women are often more gradual and observant. They usually begin by evaluating the environment, deciding whether they feel comfortable, looking for signs of mutual interest, and only then opening small emotional or social doors. Instead of making bold moves immediately, they often create opportunities and quietly wait to see whether the other person notices and responds naturally. Psychology provides an interesting explanation for this behavior. Throughout human history, emotional openness has been closely connected with feelings of safety. While modern relationships have changed in many ways, the human brain still tends to prioritize security before vulnerability. Because of this, attraction often reveals itself through quiet behaviors instead of dramatic actions. These small signals may seem insignificant on their own, but together they can tell a much clearer story. The first sign is gentle, seemingly unnecessary physical contact. This doesn't mean excessive touching or anything inappropriate. Instead, it may appear as a light touch on your arm during conversation, brushing against you while laughing, or choosing to stand slightly closer than the situation requires. The important detail isn't simply the touch itself, but how naturally and repeatedly it happens. These moments often reduce physical distance in a comfortable, gradual way. Research on nonverbal communication suggests that light, friendly touch can sometimes serve as a way of measuring comfort and emotional connection. When someone feels relaxed around another person, their body language may become more open without them even realizing it. An especially meaningful detail is when the contact lasts just a little longer than expected or when they don't immediately pull away. These small differences can communicate comfort and familiarity that words may never express. The second sign involves eye contact. The eyes are one of the strongest forms of nonverbal communication, but they're also one of the most misunderstood. Attraction isn't necessarily about staring for long periods. Instead, it's about subtle patterns. Someone who feels interested may naturally maintain eye contact a little longer during conversation while still keeping it comfortable and relaxed. Another interesting detail appears when eye contact breaks. Rather than quickly looking away to the side as people often do during neutral conversations, someone may briefly glance downward before looking back again. Combined with a soft smile and relaxed facial expressions, this sequence can reflect comfort, emotional processing, and growing interest. While none of these behaviors alone proves attraction, seeing several of them together may reveal much more than words. The third sign is often the most overlooked because it isn't based on direct flirting at all. It involves creating a more personal space within a social environment. Imagine being in a group when someone casually asks you to walk with them, help them grab something, or continues a more personal conversation away from the rest of the crowd. These situations often feel completely natural, yet they subtly reduce the social distance between two people. Psychologically, creating these small moments allows for more meaningful interaction. Before many people become emotionally open, they first want to experience a setting that feels calmer, more private, and more comfortable. This isn't always about physical location. It's about creating an interaction where both people can focus on each other without constant distractions from everyone else. At this stage, something very important happens. The person is often observing whether you'll recognize the opportunity and naturally join them in that quieter interaction. If you respond comfortably, the connection may continue to develop. If you fail to notice the invitation, the moment may simply pass without either person realizing what was missed. This is one reason many opportunities disappear, not because of a lack of attraction, but because subtle signals go unnoticed. It's important to remember that none of these behaviors should ever be treated as absolute proof that someone is romantically interested. Human behavior is complex, and every situation is different. These are simply common patterns that can appear when attraction is present. The goal is never to assume or force an interpretation, but to become more aware of the way people naturally communicate through body language, behavior, and context. If there's one lesson to take away from all of this, it's that many meaningful opportunities are missed not because someone lacks confidence or charm, but because they fail to recognize the quiet, unspoken language that often exists in real conversations. The better you become at noticing these subtle patterns while respecting the other person's comfort and boundaries, the more naturally your own interactions will improve. Sometimes the smallest signals reveal the biggest stories, and learning to notice them can completely change the way you experience relationships.